Now, we've got to start the debate, okay? And the debate is that people get upset about COVID passport. Well, I think the word passport is wrong for a start. I think having to prove, which you do now, to get into various places, to get on an aeroplane, to go, you have to prove that you have been injected. And I have been injected, and I think myself that if you don't get injected, then you are selfish, because the science says that you will get COVID less seriously if you have been injected. I go into hospital a lot. I know how busy the doctors and nurses are, because not only are they looking after those people who've had heart attacks, are dealing with cancer, various other diseases, they have got a lot of people who are very seriously ill with COVID in there, and it's making it very difficult. So one person said to me, I don't know what everybody's moaning about. I haven't seen anybody drop dead in the street. Well, if we got to the stage where you saw people dropping dead in the street, we should head for the hills.
There were people dropping dead at home before they could get to hospital.
Yeah. There were. So, Sophie, I would like you to make a good call now as to what is wrong. Let's forget the passport word, but what is wrong with people getting their vaccine and proving that they've had it?
Oh, nothing's wrong with that, James. I'm vaccinated. I've had both vaccines. Haven't got the third one yet.
You get it, Sophie. It's a good idea.
Just obviously, just because of, the timing or whatever. But I am still against vaccine passports, and not internationally. That's because what countries should be able to make their own rules of who they do and don't want in their country, and if they don't want unvaccinated people in their country, that is their decision. It's not our decision to make nor dictate, because it's their own country, and you should be able to control who comes to your borders. But my problem is the domestic vaccine passports that dictate whether vaccinated or unvaccinated people should go into venues, purely because they scientifically do not work and they are far too discriminatory. There is no reason for it. If they scientifically doesn't work, there is no reason for them.
Well, but there is a reason, you will appreciate, to be vaccinated. And if you go to a place where it's very busy, if you've been vaccinated, you are going to be less likely, not totally, because nothing is total, you're going to be less likely to spread the virus. You are going to be obviously a lot less likely to pick it up. But people who haven't been vaccinated, and they are the majority of people who are seriously ill in hospital at the moment, some of them very young, younger people do have this tendency to get long COVID as well, which is really nasty. They could spread it to a person of Ash's age, he's very old, and, he could be dangerously ill. So when I've been out, I was at a function the other day, and you had to take your little thing to show you've had your jabs. It's very easy to do, a lateral flow test, and you have a little thing on your phone, no problem. And I think that's a good idea, because I don't want to be in a huge place with lots of people who could have all kinds of diseases on them. But I think the word passport frightens a lot of people. Yeah,
I want to pick up on something you said, and it was they could go into a crowd and and infect somebody who is old, like Ash.
Exactly. I think. Thank you for picking up on that. I'm not old. Very well done, Sophie.
No, but the thing is, those who are vaccinated could also do the same thing. So I think
they're not as transmissible.
Your view, they're not as transmissible. Can we highlight the word "as"? That still means they are. So an unvaccinated person, by technicality, can still do it. But I think that when we consider that, the whole purpose most people are thinking of for vaccine passports is because you want to punish them, not scientifically, but because scientifically they are completely and utterly flawed. If we look at the likes of Germany, Belgium, all of that, you want to implement this because they took the decision that you view as selfish, and it's punishing them because of their thoughts, not necessarily because of the science.
It is selfish. And the science...
in your view, it may be selfish, but scientifically the passports don't work.
Well, it's my view from what I've heard from the scientists. It's what I've heard from the doctors who are giving the advice to the politicians. And, there's so many people who are so thick and so stupid who go on about, I'm not having this, I'm not being told what to do, I'm not having a jab, I'm not wearing a mask, I'll do what I want, thank you very much. Well, I don't like people like that. And quite frankly, they're antisocial, and they're not the sort of people that I would want to have around me. And I think a lot of venues are very worried about now because people are cancelling. You know, my son's got a restaurant and he's had a load of cancellations. Lots of people have, because people are getting frightened because so many, it's a minority, but they've got a very loud voice, the anti-vaxxers, and a lot of people are getting worried about them. And I think
I think a lot of people are getting frightened because the media are pushing fear through everyone for a virus that nobody has been hospitalised or died for. I think that's where people are being scared from.
Well,
like
actually,
Jeremy Vine.
You mean the new virus, the new variant?
Is Jeremy Vine an anti-vaxxer as well?
No, he's very...
Oh, is he very pro? Oh, well, he's gone slightly up in my estimation.
No, but he's like to the pro point of like, you know, mandatory vaccines. That's what they talk about.
Are you worried like me? Are you worried like me, Sophie, that his ID card's through the back door?
I'm not an extreme conspiracy.
It's not really a conspiracy theorist.
I believe, however, that vaccine passports are fundamentally discriminatory. And
that's the whole point in them. That is the whole point in them, yeah.
But we should be discriminatory
but if they don't scientifically work.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, but I think, you know, if people don't, if this band of about 1 million people, and out of something like 1 or 2 million people who haven't been vaccinated won't get vaccinated, obviously there's some people who medically can't get vaccinated, and nobody is having a go at them at all. But if you can, and if your doctors say, if you're worried about it, go and talk to your doctor. It is for the good of all of us to get the vaccine. And why some people are going on, oh, well, they're going to fill me full of chips to spy on. They could spy on you now. Anybody with a mobile phone can be
much
tracked.
better than the viruses.
Yeah.
The vaccine.
I mean, it's annoying me intensely. And I know everybody goes on about, oh, well, the masks don't work. Well, they do work, actually, to a certain extent. And also, for the year when people were wearing them, and I have to admit, I didn't. I don't like a mask, but I have taken Lady W's advice, and I'm wearing one in crowded places. We're not being... the people seem to think the government want to do all these things. And Boris would much rather have none of this pandemic, would much rather people were having a great time and thought he was a good bloke. He doesn't want all of this. In fact, I would think he's probably against a lot of it, but his advisors, at least the medical ones, know what they're talking about. I'm not sure about the others. Yeah. I mean,
this country's being run on advisors. We don't have a prime minister. The advisors are our prime ministers at the moment.
But every politician does, and they're useless. And the civil service are running this country. And if the politicians of this country don't stand up to the civil service, we will be in big trouble. They need to sack a few of them tomorrow.
Yeah, but when when one politician did stand up to the civil service, they got accused of bullying, known as Priti Patel, because we have this generation of woke people.
Yeah. Well, we have to stop.
So apparently, being told to do your job is bullying.
Yeah, no, that has to stop. You know, because I've always been quite sort of shouty when people don't do what I want them to do, if it's involved with me. And if I turn around and said to Sambo, who is probably one of the best technical operators I've ever worked with, apart from Ash when you were younger, Ash, obviously you're pretty shocking now.
Yeah, it's a young man's game.
Yeah. You know, I'd turn around and say, for God's sake, if you do that again, you can just leave. You can just bugger off if you do that again.
Sometimes
and
they
now
do.
If I did that, somebody tell me, you can't talk to me like that.
And they would actually leave, yeah.